A group of Australian teenagers acquire a mysterious statue of a human hand that is said to be able to connect you with spirits from the other side. Sound cool? Good, because I'm here to talk about Talk to Me from 2024. So, Talk to Me was directed by brothers Michael and Danny Philippou, previously known for their YouTube channel Raka Raka. It was written by Danny Philippou and Bill Hinsman based on a concept by Daley Pearson. Now, I said 2024 because that's when it hit American theaters, but Talk to Me actually premiered at the Adelaide Film Festival in Australia back in 2022. It stars mostly Australian actors, pretty much unknown in the US, like Sophie Wilde, Alexandra Jensen, Joe Bird, Otis Donhe, Zoe Tarakis, and Miranda Otto, known for a small role in one of the Lord of the Rings movies, with Sophie Wilde and Joe Bird turning in particularly impressive performances. And Talk to Me has been massively successful, both critically and financially, and has become the highest grossing A24 film thus far, surpassing Hereditary even. So, needless to say, there is a prequel in the works and a sequel in the works, and I'm really excited for those. So, to cut to the chase a little bit, I guess, I kind of loved this movie. To be honest, I didn't have really. Initially, I didn't have any interest in seeing this. I saw the trailer. I'm an A24 fanboy. I'm typically going to try to see anything that they put their name on. But I saw the trailer for this, and it's not that it was an unimpressive trailer by any means. It just didn't grab me. It didn't look like something that I thought I would appreciate, especially seeing the age of most of the actors, or the characters in the movie. They're teenagers. Typically, movies like that don't really interest me. But a friend of mine kind of drugged me out to it while it was in theaters, kind of promised me, this is going to be good. You should give it a shot. Okay, I'm all for it. I absolutely, like I said, I loved it. So, I kind of laid out the premise of the movie. It kind of is based around Sophie Wilde. Her character's name is Mia. Now, she lives with her dad. They had both recently lost Sophie's mom. So, there's a lot of kind of heavy emotion going on there, and that's something I can actually really connect with. So I don't know if it was for that reason or if I just liked her so damn much, but I felt like this kind of connection to Mia. I don't know. Maybe it's because we've kind of gone through some similar tragedies, but I just loved her performance. I thought she was fantastic. So she hangs out a lot with her childhood friend Jade, played by Alexandra Jensen, and her little brother Riley, played by Joe Bird. Especially after losing her mom, she kind of adopts them as her new family. Now, like I said, she does live with her dad, and this part hit me as very realistic, where it's obviously her dad is grieving as well in his own way, and he kind of wants to maintain a connection with Mia, but she, for one reason or another, she kind of is distancing herself from him. Maybe she blames him for the loss of her mom, or maybe she just that's her coping mechanism. Maybe she just doesn't want to face reality. I think maybe she, in her own way, is kind of trying to escape reality, spending more time with her friend's family, instead of time with her dad. And I can relate to that. You're so engulfed in sadness, you need a break from it. And I would think spending a lot of time with her dad is, kind of only going to exacerbate, the sadness. Even though it would be the right thing to do, clearly he is kind of looking to her for comfort, and she's just kind of emotionally unavailable. She's not really giving him that comfort that he needs. So through a couple friends, they are introduced to this kind of ceramic-looking statue of a human hand. Now, it is said, nobody knows for sure, they just kind of acquired this statue through some other people that they had known. It is said that this is a statue of some kind of, I can't remember the word that they use, some kind of ancient mystic or something like that, somebody who could see the future or talk to the dead, something like that. And so the hand looks pretty cool. I mean, it is basically, it just looks like the ceramic casting of someone's hand. It's got kind of all these like occult symbols all over it. But what's kind of funny is on top of that, because this is very realistic. Keep in mind, most of the people that have had this thing for the last who knows how many years were teenagers, so they've got like signatures all the fuck over it. Like kids, will sign each other's cast. And, remember that in school? You'd sign your friend's cast if they broke their arm or whatever. So it looks like that. It's got kids' signatures written all over this thing. So, anyways, this thing is said to have this power that you kind of perform this ritual. You have to light a candle. You hold the hand. You have to say, "Talk to me," and then you have to give it permission. You have to say, "I let you in." And basically, what happens when you do that is you are then possessed by just a random spirit from the other side. It seems to be a different spirit every single time, no matter who does it. I kind of envision it as like in the spirit world, there's like a race to this thing. Whoever gets there first gets to possess that person. So there are rules that were passed down. You can only do it for 90 seconds. If you go longer than 90 seconds, it can be very dangerous. It is said that you surpass that 90-second time and the spirit might not go away. It might remain with you, and it has happened in the past. As to how many times, that is unknown, but it did happen to one of the previous owners of this statue. So they're playing around with this thing at a party, almost like it's almost like recreational drug use. Because apparently it feels very good while you're being possessed. It's quite a rush. And as I said, the spirit that possesses you is different every time. Sometimes they're benevolent, but sometimes they're very malevolent and, want to cause harm. So they're kind of taking turns. All the friends are doing it all night, one after the other. It's pretty wild. Up until kind of near the end of the night, it's late. They're putting it away. The friends are about to go home, where Riley, the younger brother played by Joe Bird, he really wants to try it. I think he's like 14 or something like that. He really wants to try it. His sister is off in another room, hanging out with her boyfriend, I think, who he's one of the first to go, and he has a very bad experience. Not dangerous, but it's bad. He didn't like it at all. So anyways, Riley wants to try it. Mia, she's kind of like a big sister to him. So she says, no fucking way. Your family would kill me. I can't let you do that. And he talks her into it. He's like, how about just for, 50 or 60 seconds? I'll just do a short one. Talks her into it, so she agrees to let it happen. So when he becomes possessed by what appears to be Mia's mom, who passed recently, like I said. So he is basically talking to Mia through the spirit of Mia's mom, apparently. And of course, anyone who's lost somebody and is still in the kind of the grieving process, you're not really in the right frame of mind. So this, of course, is huge to her. The 50-second mark hits, and one of the friends is like, all right, we need to stop this. It's been 50 seconds. And Mia's like, no, my mom is talking to me. Please, let's just do it a little bit longer. And then I think she goes to around the 90-second mark or whatever. And then when they go to kind of disconnect Riley from the statue, he won't let go. And he starts to, I don't know if he becomes possessed by a different spirit at that point, but he starts to, and there's a small handful of really disturbing scenes in this movie, and this is the first and maybe the most disturbing, where he just starts thrashing around. He starts slamming his head on the table fucking hard, to where after the first or second slam, he just has blood dripping down his face. He becomes incredibly strong. There's 3 or 4 of them trying to stop him from flailing around, trying to get the statue away from his hand. Some kind of unseen force shoots him across the room so hard. He's in the chair, by the way, because they strap themselves to a chair when it happens to kind of try and prevent these things from happening. But he slams into a window so hard that the back of his head like shatters the window. It shoots him back up to the table. He goes up to this other table, kind of like a I don't know, coffee table type thing. he continues to slam his head onto the table, and every time he does it 5 or 6 times. Every time he does it, you just feel it. You feel it in your own head, and his face looks that much more messed up every time he does it. He even tries at one point. He puts his fingers to one of his eyes and tries to pull his eye out. Luckily, they stop him from that. But by the time this is all done, he looks really bad. And this is great makeup effects, by the way. He doesn't even look remotely like the same person that he was. You know, especially him being so young, it's incredibly disturbing. And you know, all the actors in this movie do such a good job at connecting you with the characters, that when he does this and when he goes through this, like you feel for him, you feel for his family. I mean, these are things that every movie should do, but they often fail at. You know, you just are so sympathetic with these people. They're all good people. So he ends up going to the hospital. Things are looking really bad for him. And Mia, of course, is blamed. It is kind of her fault. She's blamed for this. Now, Mia, at this point, has the statue in her possession. So she ends up doing one of the most dangerous things you can do with this thing. She connects to it without anyone around her, without anyone to guide her and to stop the session, you know, at or before the 90-second mark. She just wants to talk to her mom, and every time she lets this thing possess her, most often she's able to talk to her mom. But she ends up doing it. She ends up going beyond the 90-second mark, and so, you know, things change for her. She starts to see spirits and stuff. She actually starts to see her mom, who's in kind of like a ghost form. So you know, her mom talks to her kind of throughout the movie from there out. Very creepy looking. What I thought was really cool about the makeup effects here is her mom, every time you see her, like, her face looks that much more decayed. It's just like she's just slowly falling apart. Kind of reminiscent, actually, of American Werewolf in London, if you know what I mean. So she is interested in staying in touch and communicating with her mom as much as she possibly can. Her mom at first appears to be, you know, benevolent. She appears to want to help Mia. She tells her, Riley needs help. You know, I'm gonna try to guide you in what you can do to help him, or else, you know, he's basically just going to be tormented for the rest of his life. Things kind of take a dark turn, and you kind of wonder, though, even from the first time that she sees her mom, like, yeah, she says she's there for, you know, for benevolent reasons, but you kind of wonder, like, I'm not sure. I'm not super convinced that this apparition of her mom is who she says she is, or, you know, having good intentions. And I gotta give credit. I just gave a lot of credit to Sophia Wilde for her, you know, for playing Mia. I just loved her. Everything that she does, I just thought she was fantastic. But we have to talk about Joe Bird playing Riley. Like I said, I think he's 14 or 15 years old, something like that. His performance is amazing. It was amazing, you know, before the incident, but it's amazing after that too, because there's a lot of physical stuff that he has to do, and it's so believable. I think this kid has a nice little acting career ahead of him. And, you know, same with Sophia Wilde. Those were my two favorite characters in this movie, and I think it was those two actors that really, I don't want to say carry this, because everyone does great, but those were the highlights for me. And from what I've read, those seem to be the highlights for just about everybody. So, you know, the remainder of the movie, I don't want to spoil too much, if anything at all, is basically Mia trying to, with the help of her mom's spirit, ghost, whatever you want to call it, doing whatever they can to save Riley, or at least make things as good for him as they possibly can. And that is pretty much the remainder of the movie. It very intense, man. This movie, like I said, I absolutely loved it. I was engaged every second of the way. There was never a second where I kind of like, oh, I better glance at my phone. I'm bored here, or I'm not connecting. I found this just to be very engaging, you know, especially for, you know, two young directors that have never directed a movie before. That blows my mind. I mean, these guys just struck gold. They also will have a nice little career ahead of them. I'm sure of that. I cannot wait for the prequel and the sequel. I don't know which comes out first, and I don't know when they're going to come out, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting impatiently, to be honest. So I'm gonna highly recommend this movie to just about any of you. If you like horror movies, I think you owe it to yourself to at least give this a watch. Maybe you won't like it. I think odds are you will, because it is a very, very good movie. As far as for a score, I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10. Why it's not getting a solid 10 out of 10, I don't know. I don't have anything really to complain about. So I don't know. Maybe you could say a 9.5, maybe even a soft 10. Because again, I don't know what. I don't think I'd be able to pick something out of this movie that I thought brought it down a notch or a half a notch. I don't have any complaints about this movie. I thought it was just fantastic. So, anyways, have you guys seen Talk to Me? If so, let me know. I would really, really love to hear your thoughts on this movie. Maybe you loved it, maybe you didn't. Either way, I'd really like to hear about it. So, anyways, that's it for me. I'm out. I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers. Don't feel like the sun's coming up. Don't feel